Okay, so this time around, what we're going to be doing is adding some Djp-Oasis to our model. So right now she has a stiff ass, so like not moving at all, and we wanna fix that. Make sure there's some actual jiggle, well, the same way it's natural for her to have some jiggle physics in the breast. So let's get her up and running. We have Blender. Okay, let's open up the MMD tab. Beforehand, let me make a new collection, and let's name this one to Misaka. Alright, so this is where she's gonna be living in, and we're gonna separate her parts in a bit, so we can turn those off. Those don't get in the way. Now we can import our model. So we want there she is here, and let's delete this one. So press import, and we should have her. Now sometimes Blender will crash or this doesn't happen. That happens, I have to use reopen Blender again and start fresh. Alright, there we go. She's in. And let me go to her. Go to the Morse. And you just don't like seeing her feet sticking out. Alright. So now we have her in. And we can only select either the bones or the whole entire mesh. It's like we can't select anything other, not or individual pieces. In order to fix that, you select your model, you go to your MMD tab, and up here you press separate by material. It's gonna take a little while. It's thinking about it. Alright, and so now all the materials have their own separate items. Now at this point, what I'm going to do is save the file. I'll save as, and character edits, go to testing, make a new folder, and let's call this Misaka butt test. And let's go to Misaka. Let's go with this one 3.0. But physics. Alright, so this is where she's going to be living as the blend file. Alright, so now I can constantly press Control Save and move her. Now at this point I want to do some other collections. This one's going to be bones. I'm going to select the bones and press, oh, also let me turn on the screencast so you can actually see what I'm doing. Alright, so click on the bones, press M, and we can move it to the bones tab. So now they disappear. Okay. So now you can grab individual pieces, and let's, well, need to make some more. Let's call this one F2 to rename body. And new, let's call this one head. And clothing, and this one's gonna be most likely the rigid bodies. Alright, so the reason why I'm gonna do this is that I really don't show it. Well, the rigid bodies kind of like pop out and they get in the way of everything else, so I like to have everything organized. Move clothing, and let's turn that off. Move clothing. Okay, so that's part of clothing and clothing. So the rest of this I'm gonna call this body. Select that. Move into body. Just turn that layer off and move that to body as well. And that's clothing, and we're just left with the head. Put that in the head section, turn that off, and now everything should be organized. So we turn off that whole layer, we pop it up, and we have the rigid bodies that usually get in the way. Select them all and move them to rigid bodies. Turn that off, and there will no longer be annoying. So we're gonna be working with our body and the bones. So from this point forward, it is where we're gonna be starting. First thing we need to do is create another bone, and that bone we're gonna clone it. So we're gonna create a bone here, and that bone is gonna be a clone over here. And then once we do our texture paint, our weight painting, that weight paint is gonna get cloned to the other side. From that point, we're gonna export the model open up PMX and finish up the physics by adding the rigid bodies and the appropriate joints, the little yellow squares. Alright, so here, so we select the bones. Actually, let me copy those as one. Control joint. There. So that's one item instead of two individual ones, which just gets annoying. Alright, from here we select the joints. Make sure they're highlighted. We go to pose. So we're gonna be adding the butt joints. So we're gonna find out which bone has control over that area, and that's going to be our parent joint. So select one, and that's a possible one, but nope, that's the one right here. So this one controls the waist, so that's the one we want. That one controls the upper waist, and that one's an extra one. Don't know why that one's there. Alright, so this one controls the, like an IK bone. Alright, so this is our parent joint. It's the one we're looking for. Now, in some models, they have a bunch of the bones. Like for instance, right here, there's like two instead of each other. Right, and you always want to grab one, but you always end up grabbing the wrong one. In order to fix that, just click on one and press H, and that just hides it. So you don't want to see something, a bone or whatnot, click on it and press H. Now if you don't want to bring it back, you're going to bring everything back by pressing Alt H. And everything's back, and also the extra annoying ones, they got like controlling bones. So press H, hide them all, and we're gonna be working on this side. So I'm just gonna get rid of all the annoying ones that I really don't care about. So is that the one? Yeah, so that's the one I care about. So I don't care about that one, I don't care about that one. Alright, so now we have like a clean area to work with. So press 1, which we're in front view. Press tab, and we're gonna go to edit mode. Okay, so now we have a bunch of junk. Let's see, Alt H, Alt Tab. Alright, so select everything that you don't want to see. Once again. Nope, we want that one. So we wanna grab that one. So we don't want those. All right. So pretty much that's just gonna be the one that we're gonna be grabbing all the time and now. So we have our parent and now we can select all right. Now we're nice and clean. Way over there. Alright, so it depends on the model, it will have different sets of bones. On this position, you want to press Shift A, and it will create a bone on the cursor area, which means this little dot. In order to move that, you can either click it and put it relatively where you want it. So when there, then it will create a bone at that location. You can also select an item and press Shift. Why my keys are not working again? Okay, Shift S. Stay. Alright, so apparently it's not staying. And then you can select where you want to place it. So you want to attach it to the place. You press here. And then the 3D cursor is going to be selected on your item. Now if you select the bone from there, it will spawn there. So relatively where we want it. Means sorry, center. Press numpad 1. Go to front view. Shift A. It creates a bone, which is right here. And then you wanna add a name. So this is the naming convention you wanna add. So you wanna add what's it? Here. You wanna add whatever name you want. So it doesn't matter at this point, but what matters is what comes after. It's dot L. Okay, dot L. So dot L is going to be for a bone that's going to be in the left. This way, the bone, once you go to your armature and press symmetrize, it'll get cloned as a dot R, as in the right. So on our situation, we want to call this one the ass dot L, and we press enter, and this little bone, go here to your bone tab. It is called as L. So let's go from view, select the center section, which is the yellow part, and press G to graph, and pretty much put it relatively where you want it. So right here, go to our other view. Yeah, let me add another one so I can explain how. Alright, so if you grab a bone from the center, you can move it around in 3D space. But if you grab either the top or bottom section, you can only move that little section within 3D space, while the other section it's stationary. So you can move either this axis or this axis, but the other one will stay put. If you want to move the whole entire bone, you gotta select it from the center, and now you can move it. So I'll leave that one. Alright, so we're back our little bone. So one thing we want, as you can see here, we have a little pyramid scheme, a little triangle. The big part, it's the base of the bone. The end point, as your fingers go, will be this little tip. So that's the little tip that's gonna be flopping up and down, while this one's gonna be static. So we want this either, so press G to be like that, so it can go up and down or back and forth, or you want to put it slightly over so it can go like this. For my situation, I just want it nice and straight, so I'm gonna put it around here. And now I'll grab the center part and put it pretty much on the center area of the butt cheek. So whenever this moves, it's gonna move here and here, while this stays static. Alright, so we have that. And now what we want to do is merge this bone to that bone. If we go currently to object mode, to pose mode, currently right now you grab that one. As you can probably see, our bone that we have is this one, the ass, stays put and is not following anything whatsoever. You grab that one, you move it, and it's like not doing crap. So we want to attach it, and let's do that. If you move your model and it stays put, to reset it, you go to pose, clear transformation, and you can either select one of those, or you just press alt, or you can just press the shortcuts, which is S for scale, R for rotate, and G for the movements. So here, select those. Let's go to our edit. Let's select our bone. Select our parent. So it's got to be in that order. First the child, and then the parent. And then you press Control P. And now you have two options. If you press connect, this guy will snap to this parent. If you press connected, it will if you press keep offset, it will stay relatively at the distance where it's at right now. No matter where this guy moves, this guy will always be static relatively to it. And since this one's not necessarily attached to it, that's what we want to do. So Control P, keep offset. And now you see this little dash line. That means this guy is now attached to our parent. Go to Object, go to Pose, and select our parent. And now, is this be on the way? Alright, so now our little bone, it is attached to our parent. So now to reset on, oops, no more. Alt R to reset our position. So now that was attached. So pretty much we're almost done here on Blender. All we have to do is clone this bone to the other side. So select the R bones, press tab, click on your bone, go to armature, symmetrize. This just made a copy from one to the other one, and as we can see, this one's as R. Click on this one, it's as L. So now we have two bones connected to that one. If you were to select the whole model and press symmetrize, you're pretty much gonna break the model. So if you're only gonna do this, only copy or mirror the bones you just added in. So let's say you want to add more bones. Let's say one bone's not gonna be enough. You can press either N and press E, and you can extrude a new bone from there, there, there. So that's pretty much press E, 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 and you end up extruding more and more bones. And then you can easily create more items. Alright, so now if you go to you export this does nothing. These bones don't have any control over anything whatsoever. But let's fix that. So select that one, select that. No, okay, select our bones first. Shift, select our skin. And we're gonna go to weight paint. Now what we're gonna do is give it the bones, the mesh, the skin that is going to get control over whatever's gonna get deformed with it. So press that one, and now we're in weight painting mode. Alright, so in this mode, there we go. So we know this bone has full control over the items in red. So everything that's full solid red, that bone is the parent, and then it gradually dissipates, means it slowly tapers off. So another bone over here has more control over that one. What we're gonna be doing on this one is having this bone have control over this small little area. So we go to tools, and we need to set up our tools. Do not press X mirror, it's not what you want. You're gonna have these two items selected: auto normalize and X mirror. So this is gonna help you, whatever you do on one side is gonna get transferred to the other side, and the auto normalize is gonna help you not screwing up pretty much by, if you press over here, is not gonna do something janky. Control, click on the bone, and this one pretty much tells you that it has no influence over anything at all. Go to your weight paint, you draw, brush, set your weight to 1, your radius to whatever size you want, and here I just want to have my strength to around 10 to 20. So I don't want this bone to have full weight overall. If you do, then what happens is this is gonna like shear off. It's gonna be like a very drastic shift between that one and the rest of the body. So having this area have only around 10 to 20% influence means the rest of the body is going to be able to move around, and this one's only is going to do very minor jiggle. If you put more, then it's going to do a way bigger jiggle, but then you're going to see big giant stretch marks once it like moves around. So you can also access this little tools if you click anywhere outside of the model, and then you have those, so you don't have to like go all the way up there. All right, let's start creating a little circle. And so the more you go in the middle, the more layering you're gonna be doing. Alright, so at this point, what you can do is grab the bone and kind of like stretch it to one side. And now you can actually see the areas we got influence. So pretty much I took a little chunk of the other butt cheek. We don't want that. So let's reduce that. Let's also go to 100%. Okay, and I also go to edit mode. Let's hide that. It's in the way. Okay, that one. And pretty much I don't want to have any control over that section. Alright, so you go to 100%, go back down to around 10. And give it a bit more of the influence that you want. Alright, so this kind of looks semi-okay. Let's grab that one. So once this does a little jiggle, it's gonna be doing that. So as now, as you can see, it has a bit too much control over the edges. So let's go minus, and let's go 5%, and I'm gonna decrease my brush size, 5% F, and just gonna decrease the strength. Alright, strength's too low. So you want it to have a nice blend in a, like a big shear off area. Alright, so now you grab it again and it looks better. But you can see we can also take a big chunk of areas again. So move it, go 100%, and we don't want any of that. Alright, so at this point, only what you wanted to move will move. Alright, so once you're satisfied as your movement, let's see, Alt G, resets it back to its original position. Here I'm gonna grab the blur brush and kind of fade this area around. So kind of smush it around. So that way it doesn't have those like big sheer off items. Alright, so here this line is the line between the two textures. Alright, so So let's see how that looks. And shit, it's kind of crappy. It's separating. Let me see if I can actually do more weight paint on this side. Oops. Now let me just smudge it. Alright, so what I'm noticing that's happening is the smudge brush, it's really not transferring the wedge from this mesh to this mesh. So let me see if I can actually fix that. Control G. Okay. Go to object mode. Go here. Press that one. Select all. And I'm gonna merge by distance. This, what's gonna happen is that like any vertices that has anything like close to each other, for instance, if there's two, this side and this side, they're gonna merge into one. And this tells me that like 1,000 vertices got like removed. So now, if I go to bones and copy weight paint, I should no longer have two separate pieces of meshes. Now it should be one identical. Let's see if as we can see, now once we do the smudge, we're no longer getting that line, that really sharp line anymore. Alright, so now that I have so I added too much in the bottom. Did I not select it? Weight paint. G. Alright. So now we have a little jiggle and it's no longer separating. So now I wanna like blend it out. So this way you have like a bit more control over a solid piece. Like for example, if I were to create 100% weight and 100 weight and click on the one item, that's what you end up with. The bone will have a full 100% control over that one, so it moves exactly to like 1 to 1. The way we're doing it now is having a subtle change. Means the bone needs to move quite a distance before it actually has a control, and it has more of a ability for it to like uh, stretch. So let's go like around 5 and add a little bit. Alright, that should be good. Yes. Give a nice blending. Alright, so now we have a pretty subtle effect. Control G, that teleports. Now, if we did this thing right over here on our right, we control click on the other one, and this just has a perfect copy of what we did on the other side. We can move that one, and that one does exactly as we want it to. Control that one. So now these bones have the exact movements that you wanted. So pretty much we are done here in Big Blender. Go to object mode. Press. Let's see. Bring everything back into place. Now, if you want to add weights to your clothing or anything else, you do the exact same thing. But let's get this done, and then we can either do the rest if we want. So before I export, make sure you save. That way you won't lose your entire process. Alright, so the model's been saved. We select all by pressing A. Go to your MMD tab and press export. Here, let's see where we're at. Tennis, yeah. So if you want to export just the model, uncheck copy textures. But if you want to export the whole entire files, means textures and all, have that checked and press export. So that goes out. Hey Roland, just noticed you there. Yeah, the background music, it is mine. Okay. So here's our previous model. It has no physics yet. Let's open up our files. Let's go to create projects, character edits. Let's see. Testing. Misaka. Alright, here's our physics. Drop it into MMD. and make sure MMD doesn't crash, because sometimes it will if it finds an error. So here are 2 new bones. You can actually grab them right now, but they won't do squat. If I were to drop a motion, dropping the section motion, oh, what the hell happened? Select Control H. Okay, tab. No, everything's in the right spot. Somehow her bones got shifted. Alright, let's delete that, and let's also delete that one since we don't need it anymore. Drop it in, see what we see. Haha. Her bones are no longer following. Okay, we broke something. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what it is that we broke. Let's see, this guy. Just that one. Huh. Maybe because I didn't select everything. Let's see, RigidBodies. Shift H. Okay, so object mode. Everything's. Let's do another export. And let's delete all those. Yes, 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 yes. Alright. Doing the export. So everything comes out. And there she is. Open up this one. Delete this model. Drop that one. And we definitely broke something. Okay, let me redo. Let's see.
Get ready for this.
Can
Are you ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Nope, that didn't save it. Alright, so let's open up a new. Yeah, don't save. Alright. Let's do some this quick. MMD, import. These models. Okay, so I have a model. Import it. Let me save as. Let's call this one 4.0. Okay, so here all I'm gonna be doing is adding the bones and exporting, see if that breaks the model. I'm not gonna do any of the other preparations items which I did prior. Let's open up screencast. Got it. Go to our bones, go to edit. Ugh, got a big mess. Okay, I want this guy somewhere over here. Okay, Shift A, add a bone, and let's call these ones as .L. Okay, so that bone, I want it. Select that one. I want somewhere over here. So there. So, damn it. Am I going to the right bone? No. This is the reason why I want to like hide everything, but just in case that's not gonna work, I'm doing this the convoluted difficult way. Grab that one, put it here. So now it's like that. So I wanna grab the bone, middle section, shift select our waist bone, which it was that one, if I got it right, Control P, and keep the opposite. So now we have a little dash line connected to that one. Click on your bone, go to amateur, and we want to symmetrize it. So now we have two. So at this point, I'm going to export it. Control save. just to make sure that this wasn't this area where Blender screwed up the armature. Because all I did was added bone, symmetrize it, and made it apparent. Okay, so at this point, let's go here, select all, export, and we know that this one doesn't work. Grab it all and delete. So there's no point in keeping those files. And now let's export our new system. Okay, we can delete that one. Alright, just chucking away. And done. Here's the confirmation. Drop that one. Okay, so now our bones are following our model. So I'm not sure whether we had, like, I did something off, or just was a corrupted export. But this one works fine. So at this point, this current model is exactly what we want. So now what we want to add is the weights. Once again, let's add the weights to this section. So select the bones, select our skin, and weight paint. Shift select, and we have that. So what is going to happen at this point is, since right now the whole entire model is the same mesh, it either might help you or might not. At my current situation, I believe it's going to be a bad idea, because I have the tail and other items in the way. So it's not like I can actually go there and hide the other items. So once again, select here and let's separate by material. Now this thing's gonna like get filled up with a bunch of items. Alright, so now we have that. And we have this little issue again, that these two are two separate items. So I'm gonna select that one and that one. I'm gonna join them. Go to edit. I'm gonna select it all. And I'm gonna merge by distance, so those seam lines go away. So now I can actually hide all the annoying parts that I don't want to see. Alright, so that's what we want. Select a mesh, select our bones, select our mesh, go to weight paint, and now we have less things gonna be obstructed with. Select our bone, go to let's go 15% this time around, and increase our weight. And just pretty much give it a relatively area. Also, I'm gonna grab it. So that one had like no influence whatsoever. Oh, okay. So my problem was this. Go to tools, auto normalize, and mirror. So what I did is just undo that. Huh. No? Okay, something is off again. Okay, so I want that. Huh. This is new. Okay, so that one has control over that area. Okay. So apparently we need to click elsewhere first in a different bone, and then our bone. Huh, maybe it needed to get updated somehow. Okay, select our two little items. And now press G, and we have the little deformation that we want. Okay, that seems to be decent. We just blend them together. Possibly have a little bit more. Okay, blend that. So, but you don't want to have just like very, very sharp corners. Okay, push G to move around. That seems somewhat reasonable. Let me add a few more up here. Since it kind of feels like it should have a little bit of influence as well. Alright, so now it looks like fairly smooth. So press G and there we go. Control G. There we go. I didn't want to reset there for a second. Alright, so check the other one. And that one has the same weight paint. So we are done. Control. Save. Select all, bring everything back, and MMD-tools, export, and I'm gonna create a new one. Wait, finish. Just because we know that other one actually does work. I don't want to like delete it. Let's create another export. It's gonna be here. Delete this one. Alright, that one's set. Drop it out. Let's move the model. Okay, now all the bones move with it. So our little test does work. We can go to our new bones, move it, and it does deform the body as you wish. However, if you throw in a motion, that does nothing. That's because the weights alone don't do squat. So what we want to add is the physics, and now we're gonna be turning into PMX to add the physics that MMD uses. So far, I haven't figured out how to do that within Blender, where else I would have. So let's yeah, I think so. They're in Discord already. Like at least most of them are. Don't know if I screwed with the other ones. Okay, let's see. Here. Damn it. So you stay in front, you stay in front. Drop our new Misaka. So at this point, we're just gonna be adding her physics. Let's go to our transform view. Here and move view there. Nope. Alright, let's turn on physics up here. And this is going to be a little test. So once we move this joint, we want to see that jiggle the same way this happens up here. Alright, so in order to do that, we go to this screen. And we're gonna select our two new bones. Select that one. Okay, I don't want to select birds, so I want to select the bones. Alright, and those, the only things got selected. Yes, okay, so only those two bones got selected. I didn't want to grab anything else. Okay, if it gets too confusing, you can always go to your material tab. If it doesn't freaking disappear on you. Where the hell did it go? There it is. And then you can pretty much get rid of the underlying areas. Alright, so here we're gonna go and add the actual physics. So you're gonna go to edit, to bones, and create rigid body with linked joints. So you sure? Yes. Alright, so at this point you're like wondering, okay, so what the hell happened? Well, if you turn on rigid bodies, you see that now we have other joints and some brand new rigid bodies, these little tubes. You can also turn them on here. You can see the little mesh outline. So now, if we turn on physics, this happens. It's like the bones are like running away, like one's going that way and the other one's going on the opposite side, and they're like gradually stretching the skin, and that's because the bones itself are not attached to the model, unlike how we did it to the bones. So we need to fix that. Grab this window, go to your bones, rigid body, and they're gonna be in the very bottom, so you can select that one and that one. Alright, so okay, not that one. We need to go to our joints. So these two square guys. So before we move on, we need to find out what's the name of their parent bone, which is we need to attach these ones to be attached there. So let's go to our bones, select bones, so we can select one, and that's okay, that one, nope, that one. So number 4, or if you can read Japanese, it's gonna say there whatever the name is. So I'm just going by the number 4. Go to our joints, select both of them, and this one's going to be your parent bone, and this one doesn't have an English name, so we can actually name it. Alright, so that's its parent bone, and this one is gonna be its final bone. So if you have a chain of bones, the end one is gonna be placed here. So now if I update this again, they only know its parent bone, but they don't know where to finalize. So here, what we have to do is tell it the UR itself. So that one, go to the very bottom, it's L. And now you go here, that guy stays there. Do the same thing for the other one. Drop down and tell it itself. It's this one's right, go to right. Click on this screen, and now you have bones with physics. Alright, so the reason why they're like jiggling around, it is because let me turn off bones with bones. The layer of the bone is interacting with all the other layers around. So if you don't want to do that, you want to actually now go to your rigid body, and first of all, let's select both of them because they're both going to be the same one, same settings. You can pick what group do you want them in. So for the most part, I always like to have this to be the same group, and I always copy the group of the breast. So you can either go over here, and this is group 4, and the other ones is not interacting is with 1 and 3. So grab that and let's put them in the same group, since that works for that one. And let's go 1 and 3. All right, now since this group is now of a different layer than the rest, it's no longer being interacted. Okay, so now all we have to do is adjust our weight values for our rigid. Here, for the most part, is press 0.9, and you give it slightly more. See, more like a mess. Now, the interaction that's doing, it's only doing it within this area, which means a tiny little area here, as we can tell. Right, which isn't much. So here you can adjust your size. So let's try a circle, because that may be the perfect shape depending on its size. Let's do 1 to see how big that is. All right, so that one, you can see there's more, but since now they're both interacting with each other, see, a sphere is touching another one, they're bouncing between each other. So just unclick that one, and that should have. Okay, so now they're interacting with something else, which I think is 2. Reset. Yeah, so it was 2. Okay, so a circle seems to be too much. It's like sticking out inside. Let's do 0.5, 0.7. Let's do 8. Alright, so what I want is to have this under the skin. And not sticking out. Let's go 0.7. Actually, I think that works. Tiny little bit sticking out. Okay. So now, once you have it the size you want, and you have like a basic jiggle effect that you want, your groups and your line colliders. We can go to our join tab, and here we're gonna tell it how much do you want it to like spring and how fast do you want it to like stop. So that way like it stops doing this, like jiggle and like spazzing him out. For the ass, I like to keep it around 100. So like it jiggles and kind of comes back. On this section, it's how much do you want it to like move left to right. So I usually want to keep it that one, 2, and oops, this one's -2, and that's possible 2, and that's -3, and that's positive 3, and 2. And then 2. And see how that looks. Okay. So that's that one. But since I screwed up and only selected one, it only got applied to one section and not both. Oh well, won't do it. Okay, -2, 2, -3, 3, 2, and 2. Alright, so this tells it how much can it bounce. Okay, so this is how far away can it move from its original spot. So this seems to be too much on your y-axis. So let's decrease that to 2 and 2. So now it moves less. And that seems a bit too much on our x-axis. So let's go 1 and 1. So that seems reasonable now on that axis. On that axis seems to be much, so let's go 1. Okay, and as you can see, it bounce. So we can increase that one by 200, and that should make it go back to normal faster. Alright, let's let's try 900, see if I got this right. Maybe I got the numbers in reverse. Yeah, as you can see now, they're like going back as fast as possible. So the higher the number here, the faster they will come back to their original point. So let's try 300. So now they have the movement, but not, they're like not going crazy. Okay, so pretty much this is it. You can just save as finish. Okay. Yes, save it. And there she is. Let's test her out. Move that one out of the way. We don't need it. We can delete this one. Grab that one. Drop that one in. And drop the motion. And let's see how that looks. So now she has the belt physics. Next we need to do is actually transfer those new weights to the clothing so they'll follow it and not be like stuck as how it is right now. But there you go. That's how you create simple physics, doing it with Blender and PMX. Alright, I'll catch you next time. I'm gonna call this one done for now.